I was actually connected to Naomi's hairstylist, the very talented Marty Harper. And initially, all we were going to do was he wanted to have crystal roses for her hair. So for the first match that she won, we had my studio and I had created 3D printed crystallized roses that we turned into functional hair pieces. She wore one during that match. And so I have them all on a purse. I brought them with me to the US Open last night, but so I started making these like in June. I One of the things about so I'm the founder and creative director of an almost 17-year-old eyewear and accessories brand called Amorir, and we take sort of ordinary everyday items and make them extraordinary. And we're an eyewear brand and an accessory brand. We work with like Beyonce, Rihanna, Katy Perry, Lizzo, all, Gaga, all the girls. And so I had the dolls and I was like, I knew that the Nike outfit was going to be fully crystallized. And I was like, it would be really cool if she was into it to make her a Naomi customized doll. We call them blinglings, to make her a bling in her likeness, matching the crystals on the outfit. If she's into it, we'll do it. And she was into it. And then I thought, well, a tennis racket would kind of be amazing. If I can find a tennis racket in this proportion, that would be great. Marty let me know what color the tennis racket was. I was able to attach it to the doll and was really was not expecting it. We'd made a red one and we made a purple one and was not expecting it to really go beyond that. But they're like America's darlings. They've taken on a life of their own. I can only take credit for the name Billie Jean Bling. That one I can take credit for. But everything else has been, Naomi will come up with an idea. It'll get relayed. She'll say, I want it to be this player. It'll get relayed to me. I then do the design research, pitch the design. Thankfully, all the designs that I've pitched had gotten approved. I feel like we were sort of in line with what we were in line. I was in understanding what she was trying to convey. And yeah, it's really taken on a life of its own this week. I've had some really fun design moments in my career. A lot of them were actually really early on in my career, like 2009-ish. I don't know if any of your viewers remember when Rihanna was like really coming into her own fashion wise, and she started wearing glasses with the chain necklace on it. That came from us. She also really put a design that we have called the Barracuda on the map, which is these black studded shield glasses that look like you can't see through. And so those were some of our really early moments that really helped to amplify Amorir and the rest of the brand and the collection. We put like porcelain flowers, lucite, spikes, nails, pearls. Like we really try and, I have glasses that are like cut in half. I have glasses that don't have any arms on them. It's just, I really like to sort of challenge myself with design and really push it forward. And so with these, it was just like, how, this item has become so ubiquitous. It's everywhere. Like, is there a way that we can put a twist on it? And so we 3D print them and crystallize them and have sort of turned them into our own little studio mascots.
And what's it been like? Obviously, I know unfortunately Naomi didn't end up making the finals, but what's it been like over the course of this U.S. Open to see how much they have taken off, how much not only Naomi loves them, but the internet loves them? Because it's everywhere you look, people are wondering what Osaka and Labubu for that match was going to be.
It's been utterly, like, I think it's been like, who can prepare, who can plan for something like this? I thought maybe like, oh, you know what, maybe a few people, maybe like I knew it was going to be on her kit. I was like, oh, maybe I'll get like a cute photo or two. But in no way was expecting, after she won her first match, for her to lift it up and show it to the cameras and talk about a name and then pull it out at a press conference. Like, those are the kind, I think it's very healthy with the career that I have and the work that I do to not put any expectations on anything. And so I was just thrilled that she loved it. I was just thrilled that it made her happy. And to see it take off in this way has been like, how can you prepare for something like that? You don't.
And how much like involvement does she have in designing that? Does she just like hand you the reins and like be like, go do what you do best, and then I'll rock it? Or like what was the input between you and her?
So I have not spoken with her directly, so I would not want to put words in her mouth, but her team has been very gracious with communication. And so they'll say that for the next one she wants it to be this, this player. And then I go and I research like what were some important, like what were important moments in their career? Were there any outfits that were tied to that? Like what was sort of their iconic visual moment, and then how can I distill that into like a 5-inch monster figurine. And so I'll then pull up and I'll then provide the outfit photo. I'll say like, oh, with Andre Agassi, who's Andre Swagassi, it was okay, well, he really loved, there was this one outfit that he designed that he was really specific about the color, and it, he had a tennis, there was a tennis racket associated with it. And so I'll provide that and I'll say, okay, so the body is going to be this infrared. I'm going to give him shorts. Like it's going to be this color tennis racket. Oh, and we need to, it's Agassi. We need a sweatband. And then I think that I think that she trusted me throughout the process and trusted that I would do the figurines justice and do her justice. And that made my job so much easier because I could do what I thought was best, and thankfully it worked.
Osaka got eliminated last night, and someone asked her what the last Labubu was going to be, and she described it as like her in last year's outfit. It was a green one. It would have a bow, and she
Mhm.
said she said she's sick about it that she wasn't gonna be able to rock it. Did you start making that one, or was that were you gonna
No,
start
I didn't know about that one until I saw those
like
clips
cool?
as well. Yeah, I was actually at the match last night. Her team was gracious enough to provide tickets for my husband and I, so we did go. And it was a long, brutal, like it was brutal to watch. I cannot imagine what it was like to play, but it was yeah, I did not learn about that until this morning, like everybody else. So I'm hoping that there's a way to make that happen. No promises, but I'm hoping.
How long did it take to from start to finish to put these together? Because obviously with how tennis is, you gotta like match by match. You don't know what the next day is
Yep.
gonna be. So how long did it take to put these things together each day,
So
whatever it was?
so if I was starting with nothing, from the beginning of the 3D print until the end of the crystallization process is somewhere between 9 and 12 hours per piece. The print takes about 5 hours, and then the crystallization can take anywhere from, usually takes about like 4 or 5 hours per piece. So for last night's match, she hasn't revealed the name of the one that was on her bag last night, and so I'm gonna leave that up to her. But for last night's match, we had, she played in one on Wednesday, and so I had to turn that one around in a day. So it was, up until 2 in the morning, and then waking up again at 9 in the morning, or not waking up at 9 in the morning, back in the studio at 9 in the morning to finish the remainder of the piece. So it's been a very intense but very rewarding week for me here.
If you had to describe the crystallization you were used to, like what exactly are they for the people like me who are used to bedazzle stuff on a day-to-day basis? And yeah, so I guess just like dive into like what you use on these pieces if you can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I absolutely can. So, I'm not going to go in depth about the different types of, so, uh, anything is a rhinestone. Anything that looks like that is a rhinestone, but there are different levels of rhinestones. You can have plastic, you can have resin, you can have glass, and you can have crystal. And crystal is the most premium one that you can use because it is a proprietary mix of glass and sand, which is what allows it to get a very sharp and multiple faceted cuts, which is, like that's why diamonds are so brilliant because it's so dense that you can like cut it and make the light reflect and refract really intensely. So we use a brand here called Preciosa. They're an Austrian brand, and they're one of the most premium brands. They're used by like like all of the crystal Prada stuff that's happening now. That's all Preciosa. Like it's a beautiful crystal. It is so vibrant. It's so brilliant. And if you're using premium materials, you're paying premium prices. So we spend a lot of money on crystals here.
So how much they cost? The ones you're
So,
using.
depending on the color, like, depending on the color, a little envelope that's like this big, that has 1,440 crystals in it can cost you like $60 for
All right.
one envelope. And so, you know, we're using, we're using like 3,000 or so crystals on these figurines on each one. Yeah, the company credit card bill can get quite high, quite high.
Since it sounds like it was a good partnership between you and her team, are you open to work with Osaka again? Let's say next year U.S. Open for some
Oh,
tennis or any tennis.
absolutely. Her team has been so warm and so welcoming and so gracious. Everybody is so nice. They're so smart. They're so truly so kind. Billie Jean Bling and Arthur Flash actually have their own verified Instagram handles now. So I think they're going to live on. They're going to live on for a while. But yeah, Naomi's team has been so incredibly warm and welcoming and wonderful and gracious. If they want me back as a creative in any capacity, it would be my honor to come and work with them again.
And obviously, it sounds like based off what you described, you work with some high profile names. Since the rise in everyone catching on, seeing your name connected to these Lubus, have there been any more like athletes and celebs reaching out, be like, hey, I want to work with you on this? Are there some men be like, I got a Labubu and I want it bedazzled? Like, has the Instagram DMs, phone line been blowing up a little bit more as of late?
Yeah, it's been a very, very surreal week. And the funniest thing is like Rihanna has literally said my name on television before, and this is what is like giving me my 15 minutes of fame. And it's been a real mind warp, but a real thrill.